So as King Kwa introduced, I do this thing called placemaking. So what essentially it means is that I help clients figure out what kind of place they want to create. So what kind of communities they want to be hanging out in their place, and all that kind of stuff. And then I figure out with them how to do the making, right? How do we involve community? How do we get that gotong royong spirit going? And underlying all our work is these qualities of a good place that we've been researching for quite a while now. It's not a checklist, it's just a guide for us. So for every project that we work on, we kind of pick a few of these qualities and then we say, what can this project do to move the needle on some of these? So I'm going to share 3 projects to give you a glimpse. So the first one is a master plan that we did. For those of you who are not familiar, this is Orchard Road, which is the main shopping belt in Singapore. And that yellow outline right there is the area that has been demarcated to be the youth precinct for the Singaporean youths. So we were supposed to do a master plan for youths there. And so we were figuring out and we said, the best way to do something for the youths is to let them tell us what they want. So we literally walked the ground with them. So you see this, we walked, we asked them what they liked, what they hated, what they would like us to work on basically, right? And that was a fresh perspective. And then we didn't stop there. So we did a hackathon with them and we get everybody and say, hey, let's go into a room, let's get some ideas going, show us your ideas, how would you solve problems? And it became an entire co-creation process with the youths. So a master plan that seemed so daunting and scary became a bit more accessible. And we didn't stop there again. We took some of the ideas and we said, let's bring this to real life. What will it be? One of the ideas was just to have a free screening of short films by youths in a public space in Singapore. It's not a thing that exists. And we said, that sounds easy enough. Let's try it out. So we prototyped this idea for one whole night. And then we asked the youths back, right? It's a feedback loop. So we asked them, hey, you created this, you imagined this. What do you think about this? Was it what you expected, right? Or were there things that you want us to relook a bit further? So it really got them involved and thinking about what a master plan could be. And then when it came back to us as professionals, our job was then to kind of put the pieces together, from the youth input to the businesses around the area, to the requirements like roads and land use. So as designers and placemakers, we became the facilitators to get a master plan for a city center site, a 5-hectare site, right, developed. So this is one of the visuals that we created. We are quite excited because we managed to carve out a public space in one of the most expensive districts in Singapore, in the middle of the shopping belt. We managed to convince the ministries to say, hey, let's give it a public space, and we hope that's going to happen. So from master plan, we moved to a neighborhood. This is a project we call Podscape, where we collect sounds and stories of the city, right? Our neighborhoods have so much things to tell us, and what's the best way? And the best way is really to just ask the neighborhood, right? Like ask the residents, what are your sounds and stories that you want to share with us? So we designed this pod. The middle portion is a recording booth. So we got the residents to come in and actually record stories and sounds, sound bites. And then the end booths, we kind of had flexibility with it. We made it an exhibition booth. We created listening booths as well. And we designed it such that it can pop up at various kinds of spaces across the Singapore neighborhoods, right? Because it was modular, we could add new modules later on. And we really imagined this to catalyze new relationship between people to people and people to neighborhood. So this was exciting for us. It was a concept. And then we decided to bring it to reality to a neighborhood in Singapore called Bukit Panjang. It's a public housing estate. It has some interesting architecture. It has the first LRT system within the neighborhood itself. And we kind of explored like what sounds are there or what stories are there in this particular neighborhood. So we worked with a sound artist, and she was recording like ambient sounds of the train, of people ordering food. And we even recreated sounds of the past, right? Like events or buildings, like the picture on the top right of a theater that is no longer there. What would that sound like? And then we brought all of this to a pop-up. This will look strange in COVID-19 era, but we actually did this just 2 weeks before circuit breaker, where the whole country kind of shut down for a while. And we just shared some stories. And it was amazing because people just keep coming to us, and we learned so much about what the town was. And we decided that, okay, all of this needs to be accessible, right? We want to tell these stories and share it with the rest of the country and the rest of the world. So we created a podcast series. There's 6 episodes in this season. We hope to get a second season going, and maybe we can go to a neighboring country to do this. So give it a listen. You might hear something new about Singapore. So that's the neighborhood scale, and then we go down to the neighbor scale. And really, in these COVID-19 times, we realize that we are physically close to our neighbors, especially in dense cities. But sometimes we're just feeling awkward, right? Like we don't know how to talk to our neighbors, or we're just shy. And we thought maybe let's do something. It sounds naive, it sounds simple, but we realized that some people just need a nudge. So we created a playbook with an ideas bank, very simple ideas that you can do with your neighbors. It's not complicated, but we think that if you can do simple activities with your neighbors, that could be the building blocks for us to be a more resilient community. And that could be the building blocks that we can get out of this pandemic stronger as a neighborhood together. So very simple illustrations, instructions, prompts, and we are trying to expand this playbook. So we got a lot of people to contribute. We did this just a couple of weeks back. So we got young change makers, people who are interested in cities to come together, give us ideas, how to improve the playbook. And in fact, the playbook itself is a collaborative effort. So it's almost like a physical manifestation of the Gotong Royong spirit. And we're excited to see how this is going to evolve way beyond COVID-19. So that's all I have. Thank you so much, everyone.